Good morning and welcome back to Funliner News, where we bring you all of the juicy drama, breaking news, and latest coverage on all things DCI. The 2025 drum corps season has officially begun, which means we have a lot to get into, so let's just jump right into it. We finally have our last show announcements as we start the 2025 season, and we're going to start with the Bluecoats. Their show is titled The Observer Effect, and it seems to be an exploration of perception and the manipulation of perception. They debuted their show at their opening night event this past weekend, so we have yet to see any scores from them, but you can bet they will be strong on the sheets this year. Carolina Crown has announced their show entitled The Point of No Return, with a repertoire featuring Carmina Burana as well as some other works. Their show description says, "A quest for humanity's deepest truths, where fate and fortune collide and mysterious hidden forces emerge to challenge the soul. As the line between free will and inevitability dissolves, we are drawn into a realm where fate prevails." This show marks the 10-year anniversary of Carolina Crown's Inferno show from 2015, and the vibes are very similar, so it will be interesting to see how much similarity there is in their journey this year as a corps. The Cult show is titled In Restless Dreams, featuring The Sound of Silence by Paul Simon, as well as some Eric Whitaker and others. It's a show about the subconscious and the world in between waking and sleeping, so it's a very trippy concept that will be fun to watch as the season continues. The Phantom Regiment, interestingly, does not have a show title as of yet. Not sure if that is the plan throughout the entire season, or if they have yet to just create one or announce one. But the repertoire includes some music by Frédéric Chopin, Ramin Djawadi, and more. So as far as I know, these are all the shows that have been announced, and we finally get to the fun part of the season where we get to see some numbers. Speaking of which, DCI's opening weekend gave us two competitive shows. The first being the all-age Barnum Festival show in Connecticut, where the Reading Buccaneers took first place with an 81.6, followed by the Hawthorne Caballeros, Bushwhackers, and Connecticut Hurricanes. But the second show this weekend took place in Fort Collins, Colorado, where 5 world-class corps went head-to-head for the first show of the season. I was actually at this event in person with the Blue Knights, so I got to get a live read of all of these shows, but let's break down what happened. The big winner of the night was the Boston Crusaders, who certainly made a boom over here on the West Coast, winning the show with a 76.2. In second place, 0.8 behind, was the Blue Devils with a 75.4, followed by the Colts, Troopers, and then Blue Knights. Taking a deeper look into this recap, the Boston Crusaders took home every caption and subcaption with the exception of music analysis. So this is a pretty decisive victory for Boston at the start of the season. Other things to note are the Troopers' percussion only 0.5 behind the Blue Devils, as well as stealing a couple captions from the Colts, beating them in visual proficiency, music analysis, and percussion. The Blue Knights also made a jump in the music subcaptions, beating the Colts in both music analysis and percussion. But in overall score, the Colts and Troopers are only 0.5 apart, so expect to see a tough fight between the two of them as the season continues. But one thing to note as we start the beginning of the season is that the Boston Crusaders came over here to the West Coast at the start of the season for one very specific reason, and it's so that their scores are matched up with the Blue Devils from the beginning. The Blue Devils are their competition, and last year they were able to take them out at the end of the season, but they wanted to come over to the West Coast from the jump so they can get immediately compared in scores. And so it's interesting to see how that will develop as they continue. I believe they'll be going head to head pretty much all the way down until Southern California in a couple weeks. So watch out for them, keep a close eye on them, see how the judges interpret their scores, their shows, and we'll see what happens as the season develops. There were also several other streamed events this past weekend, like the DCI Tour Preview featuring the Cavaliers, Phantom Regiment, and Carolina Crown, but this event was not scored, so we will have to wait and see how they match up competitively. But looking forward, the season is going into full swing starting tonight with 2 shows where we will get to see SCV, the Colombians, and Gems perform in competition, as well as the Core Encore show in Utah, where the Seattle Cascades will join the competitive season. On Wednesday, we will have the biggest show of the season yet, where the Troopers, Cavaliers, Madison Scouts, Blue Stars, Colts, and Phantom Regiment all go head-to-head in Cedarburg, Wisconsin. Meanwhile, on that same night over in Seattle, Washington, the Mandarins join the Blue Knights, SCV, and Seattle Cascades for their first competitive show. Looking further onto this weekend, DCI West brings in 12 drum corps in competition and gives us a head-to-head battle between Boston, SCV, and the Blue Devils. Over in Whitewater, Wisconsin, we will finally see the Bluecoats in action going head-to-head with Phantom Regiment. And Crown will finally take the field in competition in Lexington, South Carolina, alongside Music City and Spirit of Atlanta. But if you want to be part of the action and watch these shows at home, make sure you go subscribe to Flow Marching to watch all the streams that will be happening this week and throughout the rest of the season. But until then, my name is Everett Kim, this is Funliner News, and I'll catch you in the next one.